All right. Well, it's Facebook Friday. Dr. Gordon and Linda together again.
Yeah.
Okay. Woo, coming at you from Southeastern Fertility, where, man, what a week y'all have had. I was out of town for a couple of days, and while I was gone, you managed to arrange for a tornado to come whipping through just a couple miles from here.
Yep.
It was crazy out here.
And the crazier thing is that we all got sent out into the storm to drive home.
That's right. That's the safest thing to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, that was
Yeah, that's all right.
Except me.
that was a little weird.
That's right. That was a little weird, but you were yeah. I think they said actually they should have been in Mark's office because his office is kind of like in the center of the building.
Well, we did gather right around
Somewhere,
that area.
somewhere there, yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, I remember.
Somebody
I remember
planned it and
being
said, "Let's go
terrified. I mean, The Wizard of Oz is at times a terrifying movie, and certainly the flying monkeys are terrifying.
that
But
always
the
terrified me.
tornado also pretty
Yeah.
scary. You know, and you ever watch like those storm watcher shows and people were
Oh,
chasing
yeah.
the tornadoes through Tornado Alley, and
Uh-huh.
man, it's scary. It's scary. I mean, tornadoes are scary
Flying
things.
monkeys
Yeah,
are
and we were
scary.
watching like the videos about on Lovell Road, the apartments there, and the roofs were ripped off, and I'm like, that don't look like a normal storm, right? And when you see damage like that, I was thinking
Yeah.
like microburst or something. And then it said, oh no, I actually figured out that later it had been a tornado. So yeah, we understand and sympathy with those people who have suffered from the effects of tornadoes and storm damage. I mean, it's just
I
terrifying.
mean, here in this area, relatively speaking, in comparison to a lot of the places that get tornadoes all the time, it was very little damage in comparison.
Right.
But for it to be here, and we're not used to tornadoes but once every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, but
Very
it's
scary.
scary though. It is scary. Yeah, it's a scary thing. It is a scary thing. So another scary thing is patients are a little bit worried to think about that podcast that's out there called the Retrievals. You heard about the Retrievals podcast
You know, somebody mentioned that to me
today? Yesterday.
yesterday.
So this podcast done by the group that did Serial. You ever hear about Serial? Serial is like an amazing true crime podcast about
okay.
this guy who was accused of killing his high school girlfriend, and then it all takes place in Maryland, and he was actually then incarcerated, and they kind of like were reviewing it, and it's I think it's like 9 episodes, and like so the first episode you're like, oh yeah, he did it, and then the second episode, no, he didn't do it, then you're like, third episode, yeah, he did it, no, he didn't do it, and you're like back and forth, and that was sort of the way the case had gone. And I was
We'll have
like,
to write these down for me.
yeah,
so I
and
can see
the
them.
Serial is just like, it's so well done. And so it's actually the same crew that did Serial, and it takes place at Yale New Haven Medical Center, or the IVF program at Yale, and there was diversion going on of the fentanyl, and so patients were having egg collections without really benefit of pain meds, and so it was really bad. And and it is a terrifying thing. I think that the thing that was concerning is that patients felt like nobody really cared that they were in pain.
Mm-hmm.
They were in pain, and that is, I think that would be a terrible thing, to be in pain, and so I remember, so we used to do that type of protocol in my old practice, and we would use Demerol and Versed. Now Versed's a weird drug, right? Because Versed causes you to mess up with the ability to lay down memory, so it's, so I had this patient who had done her egg collection at Dominion. She's a lawyer, husband's a lawyer, dog's a lawyer. It's typical DC, right? And so we did the egg collection, and we moved her to, she started in one room, and we did the egg collection, put her back in that room. So they started yelling, she goes, get my husband, get my husband, get my husband. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then so we went and get her husband. This is after the egg collection, and we bring her husband, and she wants to see you. She goes, they said that they took my eggs, but they lied. I was like, I'm gonna stand here. I'm like, what are you saying? She goes, they said they took me from this room, and they brought me there, and they put me back here, but I never left. Always been in this room. I never left it. She said, they lied. It's not my eggs. I go, yes, they're your eggs. I mean, we took you down here, and then you told us about your mother-in-law coming to visit, and blah, blah, blah. She goes, I did? I go, yeah, you did. She goes, no, I didn't. I've always been here. It's like, so then I said, this is an effect of the drugs. You watch, okay? So then she kind of dozed, okay? And she woke up, and she turned to her husband and go, I'm glad you're here. They never took me out of this room. only been here. And he goes, you just told me that. She goes, no, I didn't. He goes, yeah, you just did. She goes, no, I'm telling you now. He goes, no, you told me that 10 minutes ago. She goes, no, they lied. He goes, no, I'm telling you this. Well, you're lying. He said, no, I'm not lying. So anyway, so it's like a whole thing. So DC has lots of conspiracies. So there's conspiracy. So definitely Versed is a drug that messes with your memory, you know. But it was sometimes hard to get people comfortable with the combination of Demerol and Versed, and you don't want to give them too much narcotics, so they stop breathing, which is not a good thing. And when
small problem.
When you were doing it with I was instructing my nurse to give the drug, but you didn't have like an anesthesiologist who was only in charge of giving the drugs, and so that makes it a little bit harder. You know, it's not ideal, and so then they changed the law in Virginia. And they said, you know, if you're doing this type of sedation, you have to have anesthesia, or you know, or if you're going to do it, you got to go to anesthesia CME and do all this other stuff. So I, you know, prevailed upon my partner to bring an anesthesia group in to do anesthetics, and then they did propofol. Now, propofol is a weird drug. We're not even sure, I think, exactly how propofol works, but propofol is like lights out. You get like an amazing sleep of propofol, a really good sleep of propofol, and that's why Michael Jackson was hiring the guy to give him like a constant infusion, and it did not end well for Michael Jackson. So, but you know, getting that like propofol, like you wake up and you're not really nauseated, and it was like it's just amazing. Yeah, and you're like, oh, I feel good. And we did propofol for a medical procedure, and I'm like, oh, let's go shopping. I feel good. You know, it's a. So I'm just saying. So the propofol, so that was a game changer in terms of that. But you know, so propofol really was very good, but you usually give some narcotics on top of it to help with the pain. So I think that again, that the you know, some of the feedback has been from that podcast where people were just really scared. And I'm like, listen, I said, I don't like pain. Okay, I'm like, bring on the drugs. Okay, I you know, believe me, I don't want patients to be in pain. And the good news is with mini-stim, and you know, we're not really pushing really hard. And if you get 48 eggs, you're probably gonna have, you know, you're gonna feel bad. Really, I mean, yeah. And so again, I think that, you know, although it's rare with natural and mini-stim for patients to be uncomfortable, we certainly want them to be as comfortable as you can.
Sure.
And so I think that for those patients who have listened to that podcast and are concerned, I said, no, that's why we got Stephanie. She's a wonderful CRNA. You know, she's given up the drugs. You know, we definitely want patients to be comfortable. You know, your pain is not minimized. And again, you know, we do want to make sure that the patients are comfortable as much as they can be.
And as much as Dr. Gordon would give pain medicines to keep somebody comfortable, coming from oncology, I would give so much more. So
yeah, that's right. That's
you
right.
Would be
We want to be comfortable. Yeah, and I think that's important. But it is scary listening to the podcast. You know, it is a scary podcast.
I haven't seen it, but I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, or listen to it.
Or listen to it.
Listen to it.
It's not on like a YouTube video.
No,
it's just a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, if those in the listening audience want to listen to the podcast, it's great. But just remember,
if you're going to IVF, maybe take it with a grain of salt. We're not like that.
And I'm not saying Yale's a bad place, although as a Princeton grad, no, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, I think that they were caught off guard, and I think that but you do wonder, like, they did seem to have a lot of patients who were complaining about post-procedure pain, and you say, well, and they try to explain in the podcast, you know, is there an explanation here, you know, was there, you know, a particular physician who was not as good at doing egg I mean, what was it? You know, no one really knew, but it is disconcerting, I think, to listen to, and I think that, again, the concern was that when Yale, you know, kind of came out with their statement, and you know, they were sort of not acknowledging that what the patients have gone through. You know, it's been really hard. I mean, nobody, you know, I mean, yeah, she'll go through a lot to have a child, and then you can hold that over your kid's head forever. That's good, like guilt wise, right? Yeah. You know, can I have the keys to the car? No. Do you know what I had to do to have you?
Yeah,
you know?
I don't think that works for teenagers.
I don't. Yeah. But I do think that this is actually called the Dreaming Tree. So I thought this would be a good painting to be in front of as we talk about the dreams and stuff. I used to have actually when we were doing the other. I had a Monet on the ceiling, and then like the patient was like the beach at where it was in the south of France, and there were flags on this beach boardwalk and painted by Monet. The patients would say, "Oh, the flags are moving." And that's when I knew they were getting. That's when you knew they were getting good drugs, right?
Yeah,
the flags are moving. Sarah, embryologist, said that she had stuff on the ceiling saying, you know, pick a vacation destination. So there were different places that she had visited, so they would kind of focus on that. But with propofol, you know, like we're playing the playing the 80s music, and then it's lights out, baby.
Lights out.
It's lights out.
Very
It's
fast.
lights out. So anyway, there are lots of things to be scared of. You can be scared of tornadoes. Just got back from Cape Cod. A lot of sharks at Cape Cod now. Scared of sharks.
Are they in the water, or are they people business?
Oh, they're both. But yeah. But the problem is that now the seals have come in through the breaks that were in the outermost beach.
So
And
now
then
they're
the
after
seals
the
came in, the
seals.
shark came in after them. And so Susanna pulls up this app saying, well, you can track the sharks, Dad, so you know where they are. I go, they don't all register, honey. I mean, they're not all tagged. It's like, in all those years, my brother used to tease me when I was in the water.
That's like that positive outlook.
I know, right? And he would scare, like, Jaws came out in summer of 75, I think, and my brother scared the bejeebers out of me. I mean, I was like 11 years old, and we'd be on the boat, and he'd say, go, get off the sailboat, and I'll drag you behind the sailboat. I'd be dragging behind, he'd go, whoa, look at that dorsal fin. Man, that must be like an 18-footer. And I'm like, get me out. But now it's real. Like now, because what you look like a tasty little seal, and the seals are like, they're big, man. They're big animals. It's like they're like sea dogs, and they look up and they're like looking around, and they're big. And
I don't think I'd want to get on their bad side either.
you don't. I mean, it's like there was an episode of Arrested Development where a seal did something really bad to one of the characters, which we're not going to talk about. But it was bad. Loose seal. A loose seal.
Loose seal.
I thought it was a loose seal. But anyway, so you can be afraid of tornadoes. You can be afraid of sharks. You can be afraid of snakes. But you shouldn't be afraid of your retrieval.
No.
Because Stephanie is here.
Stephanie's
Stephanie's got you covered. She's got you covered,
She's
right?
the best.
That's right. So this weekend, be safe out there, right? Don't be afraid.
No.
That's right. Don't be afraid, right? Fear not, right? And next week, are we here? We're not here?
We're here.
We're here. Maybe we'll do a building update. Who knows? We'll see.
Oh,
We'll see what things happen.
wow.
We got a lot done with the tornado for some reason.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. I know. It's just, come on, get out there. If you guys are committed to doing construction, I don't care if it's 80-mile-an-hour winds. You can be out there working.
Dr. Keenan did want to know why they weren't here one day, and because I brought his attention to it, telling him it was time
Yeah.
for us to go take his Bronco and my Jeep over there and do
Do donuts in the
the
in the
Atomic
dirt.
Speedway and
Yeah, there you go. I was wondering why there are like tracks over there. Now I know.
we didn't, but that's what made him notice. And he said, "Why aren't they here?" I said, "Maybe because it rained yesterday. Maybe
Well,
they're waiting on permission."
Well, he sent me this picture because I guess the rain was so heavy that it was like you couldn't see out the windows. He sent me a picture saying not a lot of work getting done today. Apparently not. Apparently not in the office either because he sent everyone out in the storm. Right?
Except me.
Except
He
you.
told me I needed to stay to help him do some stuff.
There you go, and he did.
And
He
I
did.
did.
He
Two people
That's right.
stayed.
That's
Two
right.
people
Well, anyway,
stayed.
two people stayed, and then there were two.
Then there were
Then there
two.
were two. Well, anyway, you all have a safe and healthy. I hope you have a sunny weekend wherever
Yes.
you are, and we'll be talking about maybe some building updates next week. All right.
Looking forward
That's
to
right.
it.
Dr. Gordon Lindis signing off from
Happy Friday.
Southeastern Fertility. Happy Friday.